I'm Rachel Larson from Elbert County Public Health and Environment. I'm the administrator. Here to present the January Board of Health report. It's our quarterly report. First thing I wanted to talk about was the 2018 statistics for septics. The total number of permits issued for 2018 was 677. The total revenue from all of those permits was $199,967, so close to $200,000. For new permits, we had 129 issued. For repair, there were 128 permits issued. And for use, which is like a change of ownership in the property, that's 420 permits issued. We're pretty close to previous years in those numbers and that revenue. Any questions? Okay. The next item that I wanted to talk about is I have a infographic for the tobacco statistics for Elbert County. This information comes from the Healthy Kids Colorado survey, and I have the 3 most recent years. In some years, I put a note at the top that 2008 and 2013, it's only statewide usage. There wasn't any statistics for county or regional. 2017, it's just regional statistics. There are no statistics available for Elbert County alone. And for the 2017 survey, that was the first year that they asked about electronic cigarettes, So that can account for some variation in these statistics from year to year. I don't think I need to go over every single statistic that's on the sheet there.
Yeah, for the electronic usage, how was it, do you know how that question was asked? Is 35% regularly using seems awfully high?
That is not just like a one-time, like I've tried it, because that statistic is actually a lot higher. So we're talking about regular usage. And it is really high just across the state of Colorado, but it's, as you can see, it's a little higher here in Elbert County. We have 35% regular usage of electronic product. State of Colorado is 27%. So it's a problem throughout the state. One thing that I did notice with the secondhand smoke exposure, you can see from the years 2008 to 2013 that there was a slight decrease. They made special note of that, even though the way that they worded their question in 2008 was they asked if it was apparent. And then 2013, they just said anybody. Were you in a residence or a home or a vehicle where somebody was using a tobacco product? But the statistics, the percentage actually decreased from 2008 to 2013. In 2017, it's back up, but I attribute that to that's the first year that they asked about electronic tobacco use. That's the youth prevention is really the focus of our tobacco grant in this county. As far as adult, like quitting, there are things like the Quit Line and other services that are available. We've been counseled this year by STEP, where they're saying that we're not allowed to do any duplication of services. Like we won't get reimbursed for things like advertising or adult cessation because the Quit Line, their program they've revamped it, they're advertising a lot in the media, and they've actually decreased the age. The minimum age, I think it used to be 15 for cessation, and now they've lowered it to 12. So it's kind of bad news, good news. The bad news is it needs to be lowered to 12, but the good news is at least it is available for the younger age groups that need cessation. And then I just wanted to give you guys an update about the tobacco youth prevention outreach. We did have a motivational speaker go out to the Big Sandy School District. He presented a speech to the elementary, middle, and high school students. We did give some camouflage pens and pencils for the students that said, "You won't see me using tobacco." So I asked around trying to figure out what everybody's color was, and I kind of learned that with the schools you have to be careful because different school districts don't want to use each other's colors. So I was like, well, everybody's favorite color is camouflage, so I went with that. The Elbert School District is scheduled to have a motivational speaker with also some of the free swag at the end of this month. I think it's next Thursday, the 31st. I'm attending the Elizabeth School District Wellness Committee meetings, and I'm working hand in hand there with the health tech and the school district nurse to see what sort of a program they want to get in their schools. The problem that I'm finding is, you know, I'm making the connections, I'm developing the relationships with the administration and the school nurses. And sometimes, you know, they'll refer me to a librarian if they want to have materials in the school there, or if they have a counselor or things of that nature. Each district is different. But the one thing that is a problem is time constraints. You know, they have to teach curriculum that's mandated by the state. They don't have a lot of extra time. So it's a lot easier for them to say, well, let's just have a one-day motivational speaker versus committing to a labor and curriculum intensive thing like 7 mindsets or Botman life skills. So I'm just trying to let them know what resources are available and work with them in their district and just get what they want to implement. And then the community health assessment survey update. So we piloted the survey in December. We edited it with the feedback that we got from the community. And we released it the first week in January. So it's on the county's website. It's on the Elbert County Public Information page. Elbert County News is putting it out on their Facebook page. I sent out emails. There's flyers and like a ring binder. I placed that in our office, in the workforce center, in the ag building, the Samuel Elbert County building, and then the libraries. So if somebody wants to do a paper survey, and if it's easier for them, they have that option. If they don't have time or whatever, they can take a flyer where they have the option of going online later, just to try and make it easier for people. Go ahead.
How long is that survey going to be open?
Sure, it's open the months of January and February. So it's supposed to be a snapshot in time. You don't want to drag it out too long. We currently have 160 responses on our SurveyMonkey. Anything that's going to be like a paper survey, we can manually enter the results in SurveyMonkey. That way we can analyze the data just easier at the end. I went to the Big R with 2 interns from the state on Thursday, January the 10th. So that was good. We're supposed to go to the Samuel Elbert building this Thursday. And then in February, we're planning on being out in the field again 2 days as well. What else was I going to say? The biggest thing that we found when you ask somebody to take a community health survey, they immediately think of a personal health, like physical health, versus just all the other issues that you know, can be built environment, social issues. There's just a lot of issues. We tried to encompass everything. I did get feedback from one gentleman that said, hey, you don't have Alzheimer's and dementia on here. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why we have other, write it in, you know, so. But we tried to be as encompassing as we could with the different issues. So, guys, any questions or?
Actually, I'd be interested at the next quarterly meeting if you could just lay out where we are spending our tobacco grant money. You had mentioned we can't duplicate, so
Okay,
I'd be curious just exactly how we're using those resources.
okay.
Questions?
No, I'm fine, thanks. I don't have any.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on what was brought forward? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Do we have to adjourn then?
Yeah, so that I will accept a motion to adjourn the Board of Health meeting.
I move that we adjourn the Board of Health meeting.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty. Okay, we're going to reconvene as the regular Board of County Commissioner meeting, January 23rd. The time is now 9:13. Rachel, could you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Pettit?
Here.
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Thayer?
Here.
Alrighty, we've already done our invocation and pledge for the day. The approval of the agenda, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda with a couple of minor modifications. One is that we eliminate item E because it is referred to in a secondary as G. And then the second one is that there's an error or a misstatement, on action items, approval of the January 14th, 2019 minutes. The minutes that were included in the package were December 14th, so we need to defer that until the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion to approve the agenda, striking item E and item I1. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Alrighty. Next item is the consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, elected officials, department heads, and staff report. Sam, do we have anything?
Yes, Commissioner, I've got two items. First, I want to talk briefly about the little snow event that we had. I've got a couple of folks here if they want to jump in, Sheriff Norton and Alex. We had a little blizzard roll through. Road and Bridge activated early, Alex activated early, and I know the Sheriff's Office activated early. There was great cooperation and communication between everybody on the county side and all the fire districts. We stayed up and watched that storm Monday night. I was up at 10 and 12 and 2 and 4 just checking things out. We did close the county yesterday and gave everybody the ability to stay home and stay safe. I think we did a better job pushing out on the PIO page what the status of the state roads were. And then with the cleanup operations yesterday, we tried to post when that we were focusing on the main roads and then the side roads and subdivision roads and gravel roads after that. So I know that the Sheriff's Office posted stuff from our page. We posted stuff from their page. And everybody posted stuff from Alex's page. So I think it went really well. The number of complaints that we got were not significant for an event of this size or shape. And Sheriff and Alex, if you guys wanted to add anything to it, you can.
I just wanted to piggyback off what Sam said. The road bridge crew, my hat's off to them for everything they did. I will say that we did have an incident that we found out about. Sorry. We had a rescue incident that we had yesterday morning. We got brought to our attention a little bit after 8 a.m. of an older couple that were stranded in a snowdrift out off of 102 and I believe it was 41. They couldn't get cell service. They couldn't walk. The female partner of that group, she just had major back surgery. They were on their way home from the hospital, and they got stuck in a drift about a half a mile away from their home. And the drift was about 8 foot tall, so they couldn't walk and they couldn't move. Some miraculous way, after 8 o'clock, they were able to get a cell signal. They called 911. We were able to get to them, but we couldn't get them any further. We brought them back to our department, got them some food, got them some coffee, warmed them up. Worked with Monty, and they met us out there with a plow that we were able to get them to their house, and we took them home to get them, and that was a good thing. My hat's off to Road and Bridge. They did an excellent job yesterday. I was up half the night with you monitoring the storm and getting our guys ready and for things like that. And I must say, this was my first storm, big storm, and the cooperation was unbelievable. That's
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Actually, Tim, did we have anybody trying to get around the gates? I know 86 was closed for a while.
We did.
Okay.
We did. Actually, we had a truck get jackknifed yesterday. We had a semi-truck get jackknifed on 86, just inside the gate. We had a few cars that got stuck past the gate. I believe they were cited.
Okay.
And, but for the most part, 86 was out east past the post office. It was pretty clear for the most part, but we did have 1 or 2 people go around the gate.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Alex, I guess just as we're recovering from this storm and putting out information for future ones, I know you always kind of push on the preparedness piece, but I know this couple, and then just a little bit about going around gates and that takes a lot of assets that out of commission, taking care of people that are going where they know they shouldn't be, so.
Yeah, and I think just to highlight the communication issue between all the different agencies, you know, with Monty, he sent out an alert saying that yesterday afternoon, once the wind died down and people could see, it seemed like, you know, everyone wanted to get on the road, and they were then having to deal with the icy roads and the snow drifts, and so he asked that, you know, that we put out something to tell people, you know, to stay off the road because it was diverting all of that road and bridge assets and keeping them from actually plowing. And so I think, you know, on the tail end of these types of incidents, while it's fresh in everyone's mind, we'll reiterate, you know, both the you know, stranded motorist problem that diverts the road and bridge and responder assets, but then also why those gates are there, and hopefully it'll resonate.
Okay, I appreciate that. And again, I mean, don't need to identify any names, but that's
No.
a pretty powerful story in terms
Absolutely.
of getting stuck, big drifts. Cell phone coverage isn't great out here. It could have been much worse if they hadn't gotten the word out. So.
Curiosity question, is that the people that went around the gates, are they locals or they're people that are from California?
I don't have any fidelity on who they were.
Out of towners?
Alrighty, thanks.
Mhm.
Sam? Yeah.
Commissioners, my second item of business, I am proud to report that a offer has been extended and accepted for a deputy county manager for Elbert County. Eileen Krauth will be coming up from Colorado Springs, where she is currently employed and starting on February 20th. Eileen has lots of experience with local government. She has was the past city administrator for the city council there. She's got everything we're looking for as far as a deputy county manager, and we're excited to have her. So I asked her to come up, and we've got a little bit of paperwork to do, and she's got to pass a background check, but we think she's going to be okay on that. But other than that, she's committed, I'm committed, and we're looking forward to having her on the 20th. And so, Eileen, if you wouldn't mind taking the podium over there and introduce yourself. We'll do a meet and greet after she starts sometime, but I did want her to come up, and then she's got to run back to the Springs after the meeting this morning.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate the introduction and the welcome here. I'm not used to standing behind the podium. I'm used to sitting over there where Sam and Bart are. So I just want to say thank you very much, Sam, for the opportunity. And I've been in Colorado Springs for a long time, for about 16 years. And recently moved up to Falcon, so I'm a little bit closer to where you all are. It's a lovely drive. I've made it a number of times over the last couple of weeks. You all have some significant challenges, but also a really great team, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it and getting rocking and rolling on some projects. So thank you very much for the welcome. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Did you want question and answer with her now, or?
No. We want ink dry on contract.
Ink dried on the contract, all right.
I was just wondering if you wanted to introduce Mike in his new role, or?
I do. Is Mike here? Mike Moore. Mike Moore is our new code compliance officer. Mike started actually on the first of the year. He's been getting his feet wet and kind of digging in. We had a long list for him to take a look at from citizens and other complaints to take a look at. You know, as we make this transition to the new zoning and subdivision regs, we're trying to work that too, and then seeing how the other counties and our neighbors do that. But Mike, if you want to take the podium and kind of introduce yourself, a lot of folks here know you, and then just let us know what you're doing and what your plan what your plan is.
So, Mike Moore. Actually, I spent the first couple of weeks trying to go through the current ordinances you have in place. I did do about probably a dozen site visits of different violations. I have talked to several complainants as well as violators to try to get them to work through the process. Ultimately, the goal is that the citizens correct the problem and we don't have to go through legal action. And I think that the majority of them are going to do exactly that. So it's going to be working through that. Also, CDS has been working on making numerous changes to resolutions, ordinances, and things like that to make sure we're on board and everything's all in place for me. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to the next couple of years to see how things go.
Thank you, Mike. Just, Commissioners, as you know, we've started to push out some information on code compliance, and Mike said it exactly right. It's not our intent to come down with a heavy hand. It's just an intent to bring the standards, enforce the standards that we've got in place and make sure everybody's aware. We're going to work very closely with everybody and make it as easy as possible. So that is part of our communication effort. Also, I failed to mention, or I may have mentioned, I'm fighting a cold, so I apologize. We do have a press release going out on Eileen. I think I embargoed it until 10 or 11 o'clock today, but that should be hitting the press here pretty soon. And then it's too late for her to not to say no after that. So we're excited with the changes that we've got coming for us for this year.
Thank you. And Mike and Sam and I guess Christina on the code compliance part have seen some concerns expressed just because code compliance sounds like a scary, onerous government putting their heel on people. And I know it's not. I mean, we're focusing on life, health, and safety matters. And I think just in the work in the messaging that we've always had code compliance. We're not asking people to comply with things that they've never been asked to comply with before. There's no really new regulations. There's some process regulations, but the actual standards haven't changed, and CDS has always been responsible for the zoning compliance. We just now have a person that's devoted to it full time. So
You're right, Commissioners, and I failed to mention, it is a public safety, health, and welfare issue. You know, it's a fire issue also. There's a lot of risks there. Nothing that wasn't on the books before. We haven't thrown anything new in there at all, but we're hoping now to raise the elevation of this office a little bit and have some teeth to follow through after the first, second, or third notice letter.
yeah, thanks.
Just as a question, you kind of give me the impression that when you talk to people, they listen to you.
Yeah, for the most part, the people I've contacted so far, they want to be in the right. They want to make sure that their things are all in order. And some people just don't know that those things were in place. Like the rubbish ordinance has been in place since 2012. And so it's just getting them understanding what those rules and guidelines are and trying to get everybody on board. Like Sam had mentioned, we will be updating the website. We're going to make it more convenient, more user-friendly for people to get on there and review what the rules and regs are for the county, not only for zoning, but for, like I said, ordinances. So hopefully that'll help. And the ultimate goal is to try to clean up the county and make things safe. A lot of the violations I've gone out on have been things that are really are health safety issues, and they shouldn't have been able to go on for so long. And without people giving me feedback and telling me about the violations, unless it's something I see, I don't have any way to know that it's there. So I ask people if they have something, just let me know and allow me opportunity to work through all of the ones that I have and get to them as quick as I can.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other staff comment or? Alrighty. Moving on to open public comment. An opportunity for folks to provide comment on any item that's not going to be considered under discussion or action today. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to discussion items. First item was the BoCC 2020 budget guidance. Thanks, Sam.
Commissioners, as you know, the past couple years, the Board of County Commissioners has given staff and elected offices some budget guidance to start with the next year's budget. So the first year was the 2018 budget, and we were able to implement that, and we actually factored that into the budget development for the final part of 18 and reported on that as part of the 19 budget process. The 19 budget guidance was factored into the 19 budget, and we'll keep reporting on that. 20 budget guidance will be developed here soon, and we think that sometime in February, we should have a draft of that for the February 13th meeting, and adopt that guidance at the February 27th meeting, which will be the perfect time for us to start developing the 2020 budget. So we appreciate the guidance. It factors in with the strategic plan and all the other planning documents that we've got for the county.
Thanks. So I know the guidance we put out for 18 was relatively light, and then 19 it grew bigger.
It's a pendulum.
Yeah, it's a pendulum. But
And we're going to find the right mix right in the middle, I think.
yeah, I think with the strategic plan now adopted, many of the items that were in the guidance before really just come down to executing our strategic plan. So, any comment? Grant or?
I just know that the sooner we get started on doing the planning and stuff, it'll sure make things go smoother down the road.
Yes, sir. We pushed hard. We got a little bit behind the curve on the 2019 budget, but I think in the end we ended up with a really good document. But yes, I would like to plan that out a little better this year.
And it's going to be motivated somewhat by the fact that we've got several people in new positions, electeds and staff.
New electeds, new CPA on staff, absolutely. New deputy county manager. We'll be in good shape.
All right. Any public comment on budget guidance for 2020? Okay, seeing none. Sam, I think you had the next item, facilities planning.
I do. So one of the things that's in our strategic plan, and one of the things that is a fairly high priority, is to make sure that we have efficient working space for everybody in the county, all the county staff, and all our elected officials. So what we want to do is, within the next couple of weeks, pull together a project plan on what we're going to do with, in terms of facilities. Step one of that is to figure out exactly what we've got. What do we have in this building here? What's the infrastructure look like? When is it going to need a new roof? We've done none of that future planning out. We have maintenance schedules, but we haven't looked at them county-wide. We just got the Samuel Elbert building in place. We know we have some work to do over there. HHS is finishing up their addition project. We've got people sitting there soon, we hope. And then also we've got concerns. We've got a jail study report coming out. We're thinking, well, the jail study report is out. We're going to have a briefing on that, I believe, the 27th of February. And we have a road and bridge shop that we know was built in 1935 which is that building right behind us that has serious conditions when it rains and snows. So we've got a lot of things that we need to look at. We also know that the county is growing in population. And how do we plan for staffing to ensure that everybody has a place to sit when we need 1, 2, 3 more people over in motor vehicles, when we need 1, 2, 3 more assessors in the assessor's office, when we have 4, 5, or 6 new people in HHS. Where are we going to put those people, and how are we going to plan for that? So this facilities plan that we're talking about is going to be comprehensive for all occupied space in the county. And there's some other factors we got to put in there. There's a fairground master plan that we need to factor into it. And I mentioned already the population growth, and we're going to work with the state demographer's office on that. We've got a lot of other short-term and long-term challenges. We know we need to finish the HHS building. That's our top priority right now. Our second priority is to finish the basement of the SEB building. Third is to make sure that we've got adequate space over here. In addition to the 2 critical things that I already mentioned, the jail study and the road and bridge shop. So big project, big plan, and there'll be a lot of staff involvement in that, as well as some contractor work. I expect the first piece will be an RFP that we put out for a facilities condition assessment. We will bring in outside architects and engineers to take a walk through to all our buildings, look at the significance of that crack right there, and some cracks that we've noticed in the foundation. Take a look at the roof, the HVAC, the boiler, all those things, the electrical systems, and the IT systems, and figure out what we are and where we need to go.
Thanks. Any,
No, I think this is probably the most important task for the next year. We've got, our greatest enemy is obsolescence of different things. Like you were telling me the other day that getting parts for our elevator here is, you have to go to a junkyard to get them. It's, we've just got to figure out where we're at and then figure out what we.
That'd be a great business if you could pull together an elevator junkyard, and, you know, I'm looking at domains like antiqueelevators.com, you know, for used parts. But yeah, we have to bring in used parts for that elevator in a lot of situations, or have them custom made.
I agree, facilities is gonna be a major issue, and I'm glad we're starting to plan right now, but we also gotta be looking down the road, which we haven't really done in the past, so it's important that we start getting our 5-10-year plans in order, whether it's facilities or anything else.
I agree.
thanks for taking this on. Any public comment on facilities planning? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to action items. We have one. I would take a motion to consider the resolution for cancellation of taxes.
Do we need to have any kind of presentation or just?
Yeah, we just need a motion to open it up.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we consider the resolution for we approve the resolution for cancellation of the uncollectible tax based on to be determined.
I'll second.
All righty. A motion and a second. Sherry, did you want to talk to this?
Good morning, Sherry Hewlett, Elbert County Treasurer. I have 5 mobile homes that have either been destroyed or moved off the property, either legally or illegally. They're 2017 taxes. No taxes were rolled to my office for 2018, so basically they're uncollected. The mobile homes are pretty minimal. We have one personal property, Wingnuts, that's 2014 through 2016 taxes. And of course, most of you know they're no longer in business and have moved. So that's the high dollar one that you see there. So the total write-off I'm asking for is $2,004.92. Typically what happens the first part of September when we get ready for tax lien sale, I'll contact the assessor's office on the mobile homes, personal property, to make sure, you know, are they still there? Are they still active? So that's what's happened in this case. The assessor will go out there and determine whether those mobile homes are still there. And so these 5 that you see obviously are not there. So do you have any questions?
I guess that's why they call them mobile.
Right, exactly.
Any public comment on this item? Anything up here, questions or?
No, I know most of if requiring the cancellation of the taxes, it has to have been at least a year since the taxes were due for them to be canceled. And I know these mobile homes and everything were identified a year or so ago, and just waiting for that year period so that they could be canceled.
Right.
Anything, Greg?
No, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution 19- to be determined for cancellation of uncollectible tax. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sherry. All right, next item we've got is board planning. Our next meeting will be February 13th. Excuse me? I did, yeah. I'm probably to my shirt versus the mic. So I guess we'll need to pick up the minutes from this meeting and the one that we pushed off from the 14th of January. Should have a document together for budget guidance by then. Anything else that you were looking at, grant, or?
No,
The commissioners, I would also say I should have that project plan for the facilities
Oh, thanks.
by then, so if you want to add that
Sure.
that'd be
as a
great.
discussion
Yeah.
item.
Is that when we're gonna hear the jail study too?
Yeah, and then I know you were working with the folks that did the jail study for either that meeting or the second, but would like to have a chance for the sheriff to sit down with them before they come to us as well, so.
We'll try to make that happen. Yeah, the 27th, I think, is when we're going to try to have that jail study briefing.
Alrighty. Okay.
Now, do you still have an RFP for the pretrial things for the sheriff?
I don't think we ever got as far as the RFP stage. We've had some initial discussions, but we need to visit with the new sheriff on that.
Yeah, I know that there was some active work on that. I myself thought that there actually is a completed RFP at this point, but we, Sam and myself can check into that and follow up with the three of you to let you know what the status is, as well as with the sheriff.
So you'll put that on the agenda for a status report on that, is that what
Sure,
you're thinking?
yeah, we can do
Yeah,
that.
that would work, and then, sheriff, that's one that, the pace of that is something you drive, it obviously affects your operation. We've been looking at it just as a opportunity to reduce the load in the jail, but that's obviously gotta be sequenced in as something that works for you, so. Alrighty, if that's all we've got, I'm sure if, we'll have some other things pop up between then. So, with that, we're gonna go ahead and recess until 1 PM for land use hearings. This afternoon, we'll be looking at the final amendments to the economic development zone portion of the zoning regulations, the updates to the zoning regulations in total, and the updates to the subdivision regulations in total. So, I'll see everybody at 1 PM.